And welcome back, everybody. Happy Monday morning. We are here for Rogue Actions Part 2. Although this feels like it's Part 20 because of the insane information dump that we got this past week, guys. Holy cow. If you guys haven't already checked out Part 1 of Rogue Actions, guys, you need to get over there ASAP. The link is down below, folks. We talked a lot about a new character release in Dark Ray and the insane update that CG is putting out, and we're calling it the ERAS tour right now in honor of Taylor Swift, guys. But you can check out the first half of that over on Ram's channel in his video, guys. There's a lot there. There's a lot to take in. If you did not check that out already, you need to get over there ASAP. See that first, then come back here. With that being said, Ram, we're going to get right into it, man. We're going to keep going right where we left off at with our ERAS tour continued here, guys. So we were discussing the episode tracks and the episode passes and kind of how this is going to work moving forward. So let me go ahead and switch our screen here so we can kind of see what we're talking about, guys. So we were talking a little bit about the episode tracks in terms of rewards. So we have a free track, we have a paid track, and we have a paid plus track, which will not really a track. We'll get into that in a second. But what we're going to do is look at the details of what you're getting from these different variations on these tracks and these passes that we're getting and all that stuff, and talk about whether we think it is worth it or not worth it first. Then we're going to get into some more information on that in a moment. So let's skip over to this. This was just recently released on Friday night, in case anybody missed this. And this is, I want to preface it, this is specifically the reward track for the era of apprentices. Okay, and as we detailed in Ram's video, that's just what we have going on here in November/December, guys. This is not far into the future, into January and beyond. This is just for this month and next month. So, the free track itself. So this is if you don't pay anything towards these tracks, but you do all the work throughout the month and you're able to unlock all these quests and these other things that you have to grind for, and you get these things. So we have 41,000 episode currency. It's a new form of currency in the game. We'll get to that in a second. You get 12 chirotechs of each. Not really good. That's salvage, to be clear. Injector cell salvage, handle salvage. Sorry, I can't say the word salvage. And injector head salvage. So again, that's like gear 12 stuff, basically, guys. 16 yellow gear salvage, 32 purple, and 40 blue. Again, nothing major there either. And then you're getting a whole bunch of different mod stuff, essentially, in this section of it. And then to finish it off, you get 4 Omicron ability materials. When we first look at that, at everything not including the currency, because the currency we don't really know a lot about yet, this, in my opinion, is not that great. Essentially, the way that we're reading this, though, guys, is that these tracks, these rewards that you're getting, are pretty much replacing Galactic Challenges, because as we're going to get into in a moment here, Galactic Challenges are going bye-bye as we know them. They're changing significantly, and the way that they're going to work is very, very different. So this is essentially replacing those rewards. Ram, at first glance of this, without thinking about the currency, because the currency is a big part of this, do you think this is a very good value, or do you think this is just kind of meh?
Yeah, meh.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, all right.
Meh.
So, like, let's break it down a little bit, right? The Kairos, really, 12.
Yeah.
A free pass for a whole episode, right? Because this is
for
an
a
episode.
month of work.
For a month of work, I get 12 Kairos if I don't pay for anything. Okay. The injector cells, whatever, those, who really cares? Because I mean, a lot of us have so much at this point. But if you're a newer player, those are obviously pretty impactful. 20 is not. I think it requires what, 50 to. I
believe so. Yeah. We have a ton of those. If you're a longtime player in the bank, like no one really needs those, but we have a ton of those for a reason. Not talking about that yet.
Yeah. So I would have said you could up those a little bit by like 25, maybe. You get half of those, half of a requirement every month, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
The mystery boxes, who knows what those are. The rest of the stuff, that's not a big deal. The 4 Amis. All right, let's break this down for a second, right? 4 Amis. Okay. Free to play, I was able to get, essentially, if I did the tier 8 box, which tier 8 box did not require you to have the newest and latest and greatest of whatever, right? Let's say it was an Inquisitor, because I know Shaka loves his Inquisitors. Let's say it was an Inquisitor Galactic Challenge. Shaka was still able to get the tier 8 box without Inquisitors, which gave you 2 Amis, right? Let's times that by what? We had 2 Galactic Challenges every week?
Yep. So
2, 4, 6, 8 every month?
8, yep.
So 8 times 2 is 16 Amis every month that you were able to get free to play. You did not need the newest and latest and greatest. Now you get other additional rewards with that, but Amis at a minimum, you were able to get up to 16 Amis a month. So now you're telling me that for a month, free to play, if I don't invest anything, I can get 4 Amis?
Yeah, it's a big reduction.
So I can get a quarter? I can get a quarter, a fourth of what I used to be able to get every month, a fourth, by not putting any money in this. Cool, thanks. All right.
Yeah, the actual blank rewards are straight trash in my opinion. Now, that does change when we get into the currency, okay? And we're going to skip the $20 pass for now, guys, because we're going to come back to that here in a second. So, the currency, there's a lot to break down here. Here's where you can use all of your currency. This is the shipments and the shipment costs and all that stuff that we're going to use that currency towards, okay? So, for ability mats, and I think we're going to focus in on some stuff because there's so much information here, guys. The ability mats, the Mark 3s, the Omegas, we don't really need. The Omicrons are the important part here. It's 1,600 credits for 1 Omicron. That is a very, very, very important part to focus on. Okay, we're going to come back to that in a second. If we continue on, character shards. It says, note characters are those available at launch and will rotate over time. So in other words, these are not always going to be the same, and I'm assuming they're pretty much always going to be older characters to some degree. Not necessarily early game characters, but stuff that's been around probably for a year or more. They're legacy type characters, that kind of thing. So if you're a late game player, this is probably not going to apply to you. If you're trying to do catch-up mechanics, it might help a little bit, but I don't think anybody's really going to be spending their currency here. Relic materials. So this is a spot where maybe this could help a little bit, because the relic crunch is a real deal. 25 carb circuits for 1,500. 20 bronziums for 3,500. I mean, that's going to go real fast. No one is going to spend anything on the chromiums or erodiums. Let's be honest here, because there's way better ways to find those. And then there's the electriums, 4 for 6,000. These are relatively steep prices, in my opinion, guys. Again, we're getting, with the free track, we're getting 41,000 episode currency. If you do everything the whole time. The electriums are going to burn up so fast if you're using for stuff like this. Some of this is maybe doable, but I don't see the relic mats really being a good use for this. Ram, I don't know, do you see yourself using any of your currency for relic stuff here, or do you think this price is too steep?
No, it's too steep. Yeah. Even for the carbonite circuit board, maybe whatever, but because a lot of us older players are running out of those older gear pieces now. The bronze and wiring, that's super steep for bronze and wiring. Like that's insane. 30, just no.
They would give you just over 200 bronzium wiring in a month.
Right.
It's not worth it.
No, yeah, it'd be easier just to, I think, go and farm the energy for the gear for those pieces and just convert them.
Yeah, just farm your ship nodes. Yeah, that's the way I look at this too, guys. All of these electriums, I'll probably focus in on the raid, but everything else, it's just shipments and stuff that you're farming this for. I would not use any of that for there. Mods and slicing materials, maybe. So there's going to be some mods in the store that you can choose from. There's going to be basically 2 of each one of these. Amplifiers, things like this. Again, these prices are steep. Those are steep prices, guys. I mean, theoretically, you could do it. You could try to buy some of the stuff, but I don't think I'm going to do it. Those are really, really high prices. Same question, Ram. Are you with me on that, or do you think that's not so bad, actually?
The micro attenuators, I might be interested in. Just because I'm getting 16 for 4,000 versus how long does it take you to get 15 in mod farming?
That's a good question.
Sometimes I'm sitting here refreshing my 3 a day, and I get 5. Sometimes I get 2. Sometimes I get 10. It varies, right? Whereas this, I'm guaranteed to get 16. I might actually consider that one. When I need to slice a mod.
I feel like if I'm gonna farm those outside of Cantina, it's probably gonna be through the TB materials. I know I always use that for Kairos, but I think that's actually a better return. We'd have to crunch numbers to do that for sure, but
yeah,
but that's a
legitimate 5 at that
thing.
point.
Yeah, correct. You don't get as many. Yeah. Gear. So here's the one thing where I think newer players might actually use this here. Kyrotech salvage, both versions, 2 pieces for 350. That's actually not bad at all. To put it in comparison, so again, if you're getting 41,000 in a month, that is going to get you close to 250 of each of those. Or not each of those, but 250 pieces per whatever version you want to spend it on over the course of a month. That's, if you're really, really hungry for Kairos, this is probably viable, in my opinion. But I think any late game player that is going to have Zepho unlocked, no, you're not going to touch this either. Well, I'll do a little reference here first. So me and Ram both are doing Zepho. We have that unlocked. Kairos are not a hard thing for us. But Bones, a fellow content creator, does not have Zepho unlocked. This is probably something that he's going to want to use because this is going to be pretty viable for him if he doesn't have Zepho and he's not pulling those Kairos. So this is something that actually might be good. It also, I find this is interesting. It says the above list gear is highlighting just the most significant pieces. There's a lot more gear available in these shipments than what we're necessarily seeing. So I think that's an interesting thing as well. But I want to go back now, Ram, to the actual Omicrons because we saw a lot of this stuff wasn't really that great. Maybe the Kairos. The Omicrons suddenly now, this doesn't look so bad. So if we have 41,000 in a month and we take 1,600 for that price, that gets you 25 Omicrons in a month. So remember earlier in your video, you had talked about how, you know, we're getting really hit pretty hard from a free-to-play standpoint in terms of that crunch on Omicrons. And the 4 that they're giving us is terrible compared to what we should have been getting with 16. Now, if you're using all of your currency towards those Omicrons, that goes from 16 to 29 in a month.
Okay.
So
I'm going to tell you why that's still a bad thing.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
How often does this store refresh?
I believe it was weekly, is what I saw.
Once a week.
Oh,
right?
You are right.
So you can't refresh it daily.
You dirty
scoundrel. You can't
scoundrel.
refresh it daily. So are you really getting 29?
Oh, no.
You're getting a max. If you buy them all, you're getting a max of, oh, wait for it, 16.
Wait. So you can get 2 a week, right? No, you can get 3 a week.
3 a week.
3 a week.
Plus the 4 per month.
Wow. Those dirty, rotten scoundrels. I didn't even catch that. Wow, I might rage. I literally didn't know about that. Like live, guys, live, as we're recording this. I did not realize that until Ram said that. That's big.
That's what I'm here for.
Wow. Okay.
Compliment sandwich. I think that might be my like thumbnail. I might just make like a sandwich and like a sloppy Joe sandwich.
Jeez. So if we're gonna kind of cap off the free track takeaway of this, it's not great, right? It's treading water at best. Is that a good, accurate descriptor?
Barely,
yeah. Ugh. I don't like that, guys.
People in the Navy swim better than this.
Yes. Okay. Now we're going to transition from the free track to the episode pass track. So this is the $20 pass. They don't talk a whole lot in this post about the $40 version. Or is it 40 or 50? Actually 40, thank you. But I think that's mostly because the $40 pass, guys, is essentially just fast tracking you along the track. You do get some other bonus rewards and stuff, but we don't know what that is. I don't think it's going to be significant. The fact that they didn't talk about it here, so let's look at
it. Just gives you everything instantly.
Yeah, pretty much is what
it gives. It gives you the capacity to skip 10 modes or 10 nodes and unlock it all instantly. So instead of me trying to wait a week for 5 droid brains, I can get the 5 droid brains instantly.
Right. So in terms of the actual $20 pass track here, guys, so you're going to get, and again, remember, this is only this current episode. This could change moving forward into other episodes. You're going to get 20 shards of HUYANG. I mean, obviously, that's going to change in future variants. They're not going to have HUYANG then. You're going to get 82,000 episode currency. Now, if I'm reading this correctly, Ram, the way that I interpret this mathematically speaking is you're getting 82,000 per here, and you're getting 41,000 on the free track as well. I read it that you get both, just like Conquest.
Correct.
You get a full Cairo of each. You get 5 droid brains, 5 Gerda keypads, 10 arrow magnifiers, 10 impulse detectors, 15 Zinbittles, 8 Omicron abilities. So now that gets you above what you would have done before in Galactic Challenges. You get 10 Zeta materials, which I think is also very big, and you get a title. Additionally, 20 shards of General Syndulla will be granted as a reward from a pass-exclusive quest. So that doesn't mean that you get these immediately. You would have to complete a quest when she arrives to get those shards. So it literally is content being locked behind a paywall. Not rewards, but content. That's a big issue. Ram, okay, now, so we've looked at what we can buy with stuff. We know that we're capped on some of these things. So that makes me really question how much of anything we're going to be able to get with this currency, because it only refreshes once a week. I forgot all about that. That's a big changer, man. With that being said, though, what do you think on the $20 pass? Is this good? Is it worth it? Is it What are you thinking?
If you have it to burn, I like it.
Yes.
If you have it to burn,
yes,
because you're getting a full Cairo. Not that that necessarily matters for a lot of us now, but a full Cairo, all 3 Cairos.
Yep.
That's pretty big. 20 shards is
20 shards is
what
huge.
Usually like $10 per character, right?
So if you buy the $30 pack, you get 30 shards plus some Omicrons and such like that. So
okay, so it's like $15.
This is almost like a $15 value right here in itself.
Okay. Then you look at the droid brains. Droid brains is 1,500 crystals for 5, right? So that's another $20. Like $15. Yeah. Impulse detectors, gear to keypads, Zetas, Omicrons. If you have the ability to burn it, I think it's worth it.
Agreed. I actually think this is a really, really good deal. If you have the money, I would actually honestly be tempted to stop. So I almost always get the Conquest Pass, the $10 one. I'd be tempted to stop doing that and just push real hard to get red crates and spend my money on this instead, because I feel like you're getting more value here than you are there. But again, I want to preface this, guys, by saying that all of this is just for the era of apprentices. Now, this is something I raged about. I shouldn't say raged about. I talked about this on Friday, and I raged about things regarding this on Wednesday. Here's my problem with this, Ram, and we're going to get into something else that was announced this week. This is totally non-relevant to the ERAS tour right now, guys. But something else that was announced earlier this week is the Assault Battle Cadence, and the fact that they are now taking away old Assault Battles. That has burned me so hard, because I just don't trust CG at this point, because now they're going to put content out and they're going to take it away from you. Things that you have worked towards and built up to be able to achieve and unlock, and you should be getting those rewards, and now you can't get those rewards. That's one instance of things where I've been betrayed by CG. The other instance is, in my opinion, Conquest, where Conquest started out, if you guys aren't familiar with it, it started out with the Cat and the Razor Crest and the Maul variants of Conquest, which was amazing. It was a ton of fun. We loved it. We got great rewards. It wasn't hard to do. It was such a great game mode. And then they changed it and made it way more grindy and way more difficult to do things in and get these achievements with. And recently, they've changed it even more to a lot of these feats and things require the newest characters that you have to whale on. So they have just continually made things more difficult and or taken rewards away from us over time. And so here's my concern with this, Ram. While this looks great right now, this $20 pass looks great. The concept of these tracks looks great. Who's to say that they're not going to just start slowly taking away some of this value from us, or more likely, bumping up the prices on these things to the point where it becomes insane and not worth it. And here's the other factor too, guys. This is all assuming that we are maxing out these passes. You're maxing these passes out by completing all these feats throughout the month. They have full control over what those feats are and how difficult those feats are. Right now, might start super easy. 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now, those feats might be insanely difficult. I want to trust them, Ram, but I've been bitten too many times, quite frankly. I just don't trust them. What are your thoughts on this, man? I don't want to rage too hard already.
Oh no, the rage is gonna come. Think about it like this, all right? So the assault battles, right? Because you mentioned the assault battles, so let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
The way that was worded and the way that it reads is that they're taking the older ones and phasing them out. Now the older ones they used to be required. They used to require what I think 7-star characters. That was the requirement for it, right? Since then, they started going to more relic based,
relics, yeah.
And so now it's now we're getting ones that are requiring relic 9. All well and good right now. Yes, it sucks taking out the rewards, but you want to take away some older ones, right? No one's complaining about it. It seems like because the older ones, I already had those on Sim. No big deal. What happens when the Qui-Gon Jinn and the Jedi Master, or the Obi-Wan Kenobi one that I took them up to Relic 9 for, so I can get droid brains? What happens when that's considered an old Galactic or an old assault battle, and now they're phasing that out? So now I have 2 Relic 9s that I'm sitting there with that, I can get use out of them, but they're not getting the purpose, the whole reason as to why I took them to Relic 9. They would have stayed at Relic 7, Relic 8. Had I not had the incentive to get the droid brains. But now you're taking away the ability for me to get those droid brains. That's what I want people to. I think people are stuck in this mode of, well, for now it's not a big deal. What happens when it is a big deal later on? What happens when Shaka now has his Inquisitors and he can actually use them in that assault battle, only for CG to take that away because it's considered an older assault battle?
Yeah.
And they replace it with one that, by the way, what if they replace the Qui-Gon Jinn and the Obi-Wan one? No, I'm not saying they are, but what if they replace one like that where I have those characters ready to go for it and I can get droid brains, and they replace it with, I don't know, Shin Hati and Balin's Skull. Mm-hmm. I don't have those. Mm-hmm. So now I have to work on those and get those requirements and get those farmed up, only for then it's considered to be old, and now they start farming. You see the issue that is going to start arising with this type of thing that they've started to push out? I don't like it.
Yeah, it sets a really, really bad precedent, man. They have total control over things, and they can just remove things at a whim, and they don't care. You built these things up, you worked hard on these things, too bad. We're taking it away, and it's now all about having the latest, greatest thing. It's funny, because I've praised them in trying to move away from the gear crunch and move more towards the character crunch and needing the characters. And I think that's a good move. I think that's a good model. But why do you have to take away the things that we've already worked towards and achieved? Like, that's my problem with this. Like, just run both assault battles at the same time. Like, I don't understand why. I mean, I do. It's because it comes down to money. Because people, they're what's the word I'm looking for? Their bottleneck, which is relics, is not bottlenecking enough, in their opinion. And they want to bottleneck harder on the relic levels. I just don't like it, man. It's such a bad precedent to set. It just leaves a bad taste in people's mouths, and it makes them not want to play the game, quite frankly. Why would anybody invest in stuff if they might lose it? Like, I actually was considering relic 9ing my Imperial Remnant trio for that event, for the Omicrons. Well, I'm not doing it now. Forget that. There's no way I'm doing that now. Like, they just... Why? Why, CG? Just why? So, anyway, I guess the long and short of this, guys, is that yes, initial reaction is the episode tracks, particularly the pay to play. I'm going to say pay to play track looks good on paper. But God, guys, do not trust CG right now, because they are not doing things that are good for the player base, in my opinion, when it comes to these types of things. There are other things that are good, and we're going to talk more about some of that stuff. But when it comes to investing your money and investing your materials in on things based on events and rewards, be careful, because they are setting a bad precedence in just turning heel on you and not letting you keep those rewards and keep earning those things that you've worked towards. Let us know in the comments, guys, if we're on the right track on that, or if you totally disagree and think that this stuff is all amazing and great and everything. With that being said, we're going to continue back to the ERAS tour now, guys. Sorry, we kind of did a little sidebar tangent there. We're going to get back into the tour. We're going to talk a little bit now more about the episode quests specifically. We're going to talk a little bit about the journey quests, what these kinds of things look like, the galactic challenges, and then we're going to get into the character stuff, which also leads into HUYANG and such. So, let me go ahead back to this screen here, and we're going to talk a little bit about journey quests first. So, one of the things that they're trying to focus in on with this, guys, is that they're trying to reward you for doing just everyday things that you do in the game. So we have the journey quests. So as an example with the journey quests, win mod battle 9A, win mod battle 9C, all of this stuff. It's really, really simple. And this is, obviously, guys, this is primarily geared towards early game players. Basically, they're just changing a lot of these things to be very, very easy to achieve. It's going to lead to prestigious achievements instead of prestigious, I forget what the term was before that they had, prestigious quests. So a lot of this stuff this makes sense. Do just basic everyday things. It's more achievable. If you're a long-time player and you've probably already achieved some of this stuff, on Tuesday you're probably going to see some of these achievements automatically unlocked for you. So a lot of this stuff is good, in my opinion. I don't have an issue with this at all. Where again, I have a little bit of an issue with this as we get into the episode quests, because this is a little bit different than the other things that we just mentioned. These are things that are going to change and not be consistent. So, for instance, you can see it says complete Tier 2 of the HUYANG Marquee event, which right now, most people should be able to do that. Not everybody. If you're completely free to play, you probably will not. But a lot of people will be able to do this. Win 5 marquee battles over the course of a month. That should be pretty easy to do, because they did clarify, by the way, guys, I forget where in what post, because there's been so many posts, but they did clarify that the current marquee structure is still going to exist. So the marquee event that we had with Sabine, for instance, that will still be present moving forward. So these 5 marquee battles, that should be very, very easy for you to do. We have 7 of them, I think, in a current event, Ram, yes? Either something 6 or 7, yeah. So that should be pretty easy. Upgrade a mod 10 times. Everyone should be doing that pretty easily. Defeat 10 enemies with droids. That's obviously HUYANG specific. So again, these are all quests, or feats is another way to say it. I'm going to look at them as being feats, quite frankly. And it's very approachable from what we're seeing right now. But this is going to change every episode. This is going to change throughout the eras. And as we said, be careful, because Conquest started out really easy too, and it was really great, and those feats were super easy, and now they've become crazy grindy and crazy difficult, and you have to have the newest, latest, greatest thing. So I would say take this with a grain of salt, guys, because you never know how this is going to get. Right now, it looks good. Ram, without getting into the negative Nancy side of this thing, what are your thoughts on them and incorporating kind of this new quest/feat structure, both in regards to the episodes themselves, in journeys? We're going to talk about characters more in a second, and then obviously the prestigious achievements too. Kind of their approach of incorporating this into the game. What do you think on that, man?
I don't know. It's not bad, I guess. I'm kind of indifferent, I guess is a good word about it. It's like, it's not going to change how I played or how I approached the game. The marquee, the tier 2, I think I was already completing tier 2 anyways, just because you unlock, I think it's a 3 or 4 star requirement
Yeah, it's either 3 or 4. I forget which one it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I was already completing tier 2 anyway, so that's not an issue. The 5 marquee battles, that actually was something I wasn't even doing because I don't go in. I don't go in every day and do it. I go in, unlock the character, and I call it quits. I call it a day, and I'm like, cool. All right, I'm done with the event. I don't touch it anymore. So this gives me a reason to actually go back in and do it every day. Everything else is simple, but I don't know. It's just like another. It's another event or content. It's more content for me to do outside of the daily activities.
Yeah,
whatever.
It's completionist content in particular.
Sure.
Like I said, I think this could be good if it's stuff that we literally are just easily achieving throughout our gameplay. I think it's great. I just worry that it's going to turn into, things that are very new character specific and or very grindy specific to try to make us really push to get some of these rewards. It always seems to come down to this kind of a thing with CG. They make changes that can be really good for the game and for the player base, and it's just a question of do they abuse it or not.
Right now it says complete tier 2. What happens when it says complete tier 7?
Right, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, if they don't abuse this and they do actually keep this free to play friendly, which is what they said. Their words, then I think it's great stuff. I think these are great things. I think they're great changes for the game. It's just a question of whether they hold true to that and they don't try to bait and switch you, so to speak. In terms of things that are definitely good, simming. So that we talked about the changes to the daily events in Ram's channel, guys, and now we're going to talk a little bit more about that kind of side of things with the simming in particular. We're going to be able to sim so many things, guys. Galactic Legend, Ultimate Journey, so that's the event that it comes at the end of Conquest. All of these mythic events that have been around forever that we haven't been able to sim, thank goodness. Smuggler's Run and 2 in particular, that's great. Galactic Bounties 1 and 2, Endor Escalation, Ghost of Dathomir, all of these things simmable, guys. This is a huge quality of life update, without a doubt. Do you agree with me on that one, Ram?
Absolutely. There is nothing bad about this that I can see. No, nothing at all. Smuggler's Run 1 and 2. Oh my God, thank you.
Yes.
Because, like, the rewards from that, you make it a must-have. Like, you have to do it.
Right.
But I don't want to do it. This is so much time. Galactic Bounties, those were easy. I normally just didn't even do the later tiers. I just did the first tier and called it a day because the rewards are essentially the same. Put that on auto. But the Endor Escalation, Ghost of Dathomir, Defense of Dathomir, Contraband Cargo, those are
I didn't even
good mats.
I didn't even do the Contraband Cargos anymore. Like I haven't done them like 6 months.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. Yeah. Mythic events are cool. The real winner I feel like is the Galactic Legend Journey event or Ultimate Journey, right?
Yes.
The end of Conquest. That's huge because I've gone in and 3-starred all of them. And they're not terribly difficult to 3-star as long as you have the GLs and the right team.
Right.
They're not terribly difficult to 3-star, but then you have to go in and redo it every single time. And so for me to be able to sim it, I can do that. And then that entices me more to want to go in and refresh because I just don't have the time to go in and get all that currency, which consequently gives me more Omicrons down the road because you can refresh it each tier for like 250. I think like 3 times or something.
Yeah, I've heard a couple people say that they actually might refresh these things now because they are simmable. Yeah. No one wants to refresh just to go in and spend 10 minutes doing a battle again. But if you can refresh it and sim it and get those rewards easily, people are much more interested.
Absolutely.
I also I don't know why, but I feel like that day after Conquest ends is so horrifically busy too. And I see that pop out and I'm just like, oh my God, why? Like I just want a day that isn't going to be an insane grind, and then that pops up and you're like, ugh.
Oh, it's TW day. That's why.
Yeah.
No, it's TB day.
TB day. Yeah. TB starts. You just finished Conquest, so you're finally done with Conquest. GAC has already started back up. Yeah, I don't know. I always feel like I just see that and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do this. So, but yeah, no, thank goodness. Okay, getting into some other quality of life updates. We're going to come back to the HUYANG thing in a moment. So they're going to allow you to more easily see your tickets here, guys, which the ticket thing is a whole nother thing. Ram kind of discussed this a little bit on his channel, but obviously now any energy is going to count towards your tickets, which is huge. You're going to be able to see your tickets more easily. We haven't seen this yet in game. I'm intrigued to see how easily viewable this is, but obviously that's a nice thing. That's a good thing to have as well. The UI, we said Galactic Challenges are pretty much going away. They're going to exist to some degree. Just the UI of it is going to look a lot different, and it's going to be more incorporated into the episode tracks themselves. The other big thing I will say with this, though, as you do these things, you will get the rewards immediately, unlike Galactic Challenges. So lots of good UI updates in particular. This is something I did want to talk a little bit about, though. The feats for the first Galactic Challenge to arrive after the release of the episodes on 11/20. Win the battle with a full team of Rebel fighters. Win after removing 4% turn meter from enemies, etc., etc. Win the battle with an active episode pass. So does that mean to get that you have to pay for the pass?
Yep.
Win the battle with a 3-star HUYANG on your squad, which most people should be able to do that. This is for tiers 1 and 2. Oh, wait. Escalating to a 7-star HUYANG for tiers 9 and 10. Remember what we said earlier, guys, about if CG doesn't abuse us and abuse the system? Right here. Right here. This is... I'm going to stop. No, I said I wasn't going to rage. Reb. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Rage consume you.
Like, we just talked about how great a lot of this stuff could be, and then you do this. You do this. You literally lock the feats behind paying for things. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Okay, anyway, we're moving on from that.
It's a compliment sandwich. It's a compliment sandwich. That's all it is. That's all this post is. It's great with a whole bunch of crap in the middle, and then ended with some more great stuff.
Yeah. Some other
like didn't I just say what happens when they make that tier, the complete
literally
tier 2
said it.
HUYANG?
You literally said it.
What happens when they make that complete tier 7? And then what do you show? Oh, wait, you need a 7-star HUYANG. Well, that's the only way to get a 7-star HUYANG, Shaka. Oh, gee, I don't know.
Well,
maybe it's MasterCard or Visa, or maybe PayPal.
Yep. Yeah. I find it interesting because a lot of people don't like the sky is falling approach of SWGOH content creators in general, and I was definitely a sky is falling when this stuff first dropped. And there were a lot of people like, "Oh, this is positive. This is all great. But guys, you gotta read the words between the lines or whatever the phrase is. Like, there's a lot of bad stuff in this. There is a lot of bad stuff. Read between the lines. There it is.
I'm gonna preface this. All right, how many times over the last few months, right, as far as Rogue Actions goes, how many times have we been positive about this game?
A good bit, actually. Yeah.
We have. How many times have we said, "Hey, the game is in a very good spot right now. The game is doing really well right now. The game's not going to die right now because there's just it's doing great." And I'm not saying the game's going to die. I'm just saying, how many times have we said this kind of stuff?
Right.
We've liked where the game is going.
Yep.
I think we have every right to be like, if you look at this and don't just be like, "Oh, shiny." If you look at this, you're like, there is a lot of cause for concern in a lot of this stuff, because how much investment is a lot of this is going to require for you to not even get the rewards. It's past the rewards at this point. It's the content.
Yeah, it literally is content being locked behind paywalls.
It is no longer pay to win. I have no issue with the model of a mobile game being pay to win. Right. I expect it. It's how they stay alive. It's how they stay afloat. It's how CG has managed to keep SWGOH around for 9 years. There's no issue with pay to win.
Right.
I have a huge issue with pay to play.
Yes.
When I do not get the same opportunities as anyone else just because they spend and I don't, that's an issue.
Yeah.
I have up until this point, I have had the same opportunities. I could have fast-tracked it because essentially what you're doing when you're paying is you're paying for time. You're not paying for the rewards. You're not paying for anything. You're paying for the skipping of the time. I now don't have to wait 3 months to farm up this character. I can get it right now. I now don't have to wait for this event. I can get it right now. I now don't have to wait for this particular gear piece. I can get it right now. You're paying for the time and the skipping of that to be able to get what you want now. Right. But when you say, you can't have access to this event unless you pay. Oh.
Yeah, that's...
Okay. So now you're just locking me out. Okay. And this whole episode thing. Oh, I just can't enjoy it until I'm level 85? Galactic Challenges. It literally says people up until this point now were able to enjoy Galactic Challenges if they were below level 85.
That's a good point, yeah.
It literally says... Where does it say that? These are now only for players level 85. You have just taken out, I'm gonna rage, you have just taken out a lot of your player base. I've been raging months, guys. You've just taken out a large of your player base because they can't enjoy the game unless they get the hyperdrive bundle and get a level 85. Compliment sandwich.
It's good because I had my rage on Wednesday. Like I let a lot of it out on Wednesday. I went bananas on Wednesday. It's like CG. They do things that are so good, and there's still a ton of potential for ways for them to monetize this. I don't mind them monetizing the reward track, as long as the reward track has rewards and not content. Like, just give them rewards and not content. Like, God, it's so bad, man. And then, like I said, who knows when they're going to take other things away from you, like they did with the assault battles and everything. It's just, why can't CG do things that are just good across the board? Why?
And the conquest, right? So let's back up for a second. So the conquest, and it's been a while because I always get the pass. I always get at least the basic pass
the $10,
because
yeah.
I feel like it's absolutely worth it.
Yep.
So maybe somebody can correct me if it's not this way, but even with like the gold track, you could still access that completely free to play, right? You don't need the pass to go on that gold track, right? No,
you can't get the gold track.
Okay.
The reward track is only purchasable, but there's no. You're not necessarily getting content, like you're not unlocking an event.
You're not unlocking events.
Getting that track.
You're just unlocking extra battles, which potentially unlocks different
rewards. Now, the Pass Plus
right
unlocks, we'll say, abilities within the game mode, because it doesn't cost for energy or not energy.
Yeah,
data disk swappings and things.
So
like
not
that.
Content.
So right, not content, just kind of perks is what I'll say.
So
perks.
so that all right. So. Again, I still think the Pass Plus is the pass is 100% worth it for everybody. So you're locking out people from the gold track, whatever. Those are just extra battles. Conquest can still be enjoyed to an extent as completely free to play. But what we're saying, this guys, is they are literally locking you out of content. They're literally saying you don't have access to enjoy certain things if you don't pay for it.
Yeah,
that's not conquest. That's just
give
screw
us
you.
Just put shards. Just put character shards or Zetas or just that stuff. Don't put events and quests and things like that behind the paid wall. That's really what it comes down to with this. So again, we're getting. I won't even say nitpicky, but this is stuff that CG needs to fix. Like take away the content behind the paid wall. And just put rewards behind it.
So look at this. Fix. Look at this. This Reddit post, right? When you look at the Reddit post, Egnerds broke it down pretty easily. This is how bad this Galactic Challenges type of stuff is, right? Episode points for feats are awarded immediately. Cool. Win with marquee character is gated behind stars on that character.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
Win with any squad is now gated behind the pay to play tier.
Yep.
So the easiest thing for anybody in this entire game to do is now locked behind a pass. the pain in the ass tiers, right? The hard ones. I have to remove 400% turn meter. I have to inflict 80 dots, and that's not hard. But things like that. Those are what the free players get to experience. Those are what the people get to be like, oh, let me go ahead and figure out how to do this.
When I first read this, I literally laughed out loud. His breakdown of this was great.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I think really this wouldn't be as bad if they just wouldn't lock content behind the paywall. Just give rewards and that's it. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next stuff here before we get. I can't. We're still on the ERAS tour right now, guys. We haven't even gotten into HUYANG and HERA yet. Schedule. This is very, very minor. Marquees will release on Tuesdays moving forward. Galactic challenges. So again, I think I misspoke earlier when I said the Galactic challenges are going away. Galactic challenge crates, boxes are going away, guys. Galactic challenges will still exist. The reward structure is what is changing on that. Sorry. They'll begin now on Wednesdays and Saturdays. There's going to be a loyalty program, which is a web exclusive thing, guys, for mostly pay to win people, etc., etc. I'm not spending a ton of time on that. That doesn't apply to very many people. The tickets we talked about, that's a big thing, obviously. The assimilability events, things like that. Marquees should be easy to read, etc., etc. We kind of discussed all that stuff as well, and we talked about a lot of that stuff. All right. Now, with that being said, so what we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to first...
And a loyalty program.
Well, yeah, the Kessel Run program, yeah. Like I said, that's the web store thing.
It's only the web store for now.
I'm not getting into all that stuff. That applies to very few people, I think. Feel free to check it out, guys, if you want to. What we're going to do now is we're going to transition over to the HUYANG and HERA aspects of this. We're going to talk about the marquee events, what that's going to look like, and HUYANG's kit itself, because HUYANG's kit dropped as well. Before we make that switch, guys, obviously, let us know what your thoughts are on primarily the tracks. That's obviously the big thing that we talked about. The reward tracks, the free tracks, the pay-play tracks, our stance on the content that's being gated behind those pay tracks, things like that. Let us know what your thoughts are on that. There's a lot in there, guys. I know, a lot to dissect, but let's go ahead and move along, shall we? We're going to go, Ram, into the marquee character events first and kind of what this is going to look like. And then we'll go into the kit itself. So let me scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. Here we go. Okay. So the character quests, this is, to be clear, this is not necessarily a part of the marquee event. This is a part of the episode quest to some degree, guys. But these are going to kind of go along with these new characters that are being released and things like that. You can see you've got a period of time after the marquee is released. So this is not going to last for an entire month, to be clear, guys. I think they said 2 weeks is what it was after the release of the character that this is going to go into play. To be able to unlock a lot of these things, and it gets you bonus rewards and things like that. But a lot of this is gated behind shards of the character, okay? So, you can get 2 Zetas, for instance. You can get some rewards, but all of this is gated behind shards that you're getting. And as we mentioned earlier, the old marquee structure, like what we had with Sabine, is going to continue moving forward into the future. Ram, are you upset with this? Are you okay with this? Are you indifferent with this? What are your thoughts on the marquee character quest that we've got going out to kind of coincide with the marquee release?
This is complete trash. It's just, why am I even, why? Just why? So, once again, you are making people pay. You're just not even hiding it at this point. You've gone away from hiding it. Just pay for this at this point.
So I actually don't have as
3 stars. They give you what, 55 shards up front because
yes.
the bursting. Okay,
yeah.
So 55, and then you need 75 to get this other stuff. Oh, but wait, how do you get an extra 20 shards, Shaka? Huh? It's almost like there's a pass.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like there's a pass that gives you a free 20 shards so that you can instantly get said parts of his event done.
See, I don't have as much of an issue with this because, so to be clear, guys, this does not fall under episode points and episode credits and stuff. This is completely separate from that. It just happens at the same time as these things are happening. I don't have as much of an issue with this because to me this is just rewarding you for getting the character. We talked about like, you know, paying can fast track you in the game. I think the marquee structure that they have now currently is good, and I think this is essentially just bonus stuff for doing that marquee structure. Obviously, if you're whaling out on the character, you're going to get more rewards. The only thing that I don't necessarily love, and I understand why they're doing it, but I don't love this. It's divided into 4 parts of 7 quests each, so it's basically weekly, essentially. Completing all 7 quests in one part grants a larger reward. But the thing is, you guys, is if you don't do it immediately, you don't get access to that reward. So, again, I don't think it's bad necessarily. It's rewarding you for getting the character right off the bat. If you slow whale, you get less rewards, but you're still getting more rewards because of this marquee quest than what you would have before. Versus if you're completely free to play, then you're not going to get any benefit from this whatsoever. I guess my one complaint, Ram, would be kind of on the lines of what we talked about before. This is content. This is content that's being locked behind paying. And I think that's the only downside I can see to this. I don't mind them giving this extra reward to people that are whaling on the character. I don't have as much of an issue with that. At least it's not affecting your rewards for episode content, so to speak. I don't know. Any final parting thoughts on that one, Ram?
There was no need to change how the marquee system worked. The way that they changed the marquee system previously, I really enjoyed it. I think a large portion of the player base really enjoyed it.
Well, I don't think they're changing it though. I think this is in addition to. That's the way that I'm reading it.
Is it? It feels like a change to me. Maybe I'm looking at it differently.
So it's not in this post. I forget where it is, but somewhere. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, guys. But I believe that Meathead confirmed that the marquee events, as they have existed with like Sabine and Great Mothers and things like that, that's going to continue. That format is not changing. So this is just purely an in addition to type thing that's coming into the game.
Okay.
If that's the case, I actually think this isn't bad at all. I think it's just more rewards for people.
Okay. That changed my perspective a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought that it was literally locking rewards and whatnot behind you having to whale on a character.
Well, it kind of is, because it's only 2 weeks after the release.
It is, but it's extra rewards that you didn't already have, right? Like there's no change as long as they're not changing the actual marquee system the way that it has been recently.
Right. Mm-hmm.
There's no change between what they have done previously and what they're doing now. They're just giving people extra stuff who paid for it. That I'm fine with. I've always been fine with that because that's the model of it, and that's cool. You accept that when you play this type of game.
Right.
The way I was looking at it, and if I'm wrong, hey, great, I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The way I was looking at it was this was hinged on you having to unlock them at a certain star level, which affected the event, and I thought it was replacing the actual marquee system type thing. I was not in favor of that. Okay, cool. If I'm wrong, great. Hey, I'm actually not super opposed to it because
Yeah, I just
reward for people
bonus rewards
who pay for it.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let us know in the comments, guys, what you think on that, and are we interpreting that correctly? I like I said, I can't find the exact statement, but I think that's what was stated. Mm-hmm. All right, we're now finally pivoting, guys. Good God, we have so much crap. We're finally pivoting to HUYANG's kit itself. We're not going to get into HERA very distinctly here, guys. We're just acknowledging that General Syndulla is the other marquee that is coming out during this episode and is probably going to have some significant synergy with HUYANG. So let's go ahead and get into HUYANG's kit here, guys. I am not going into depths with this one. We're going to kind of do a very, very broad overview of this, guys, and just get general first thoughts. So, History of the Galaxy is a tiered system here. Basically, he's a TB character. He does a lot of stuff in there with the buffing and debuffing of things. Works very well under GL Ahsoka, and has some droid synergy, not a ton, mostly Spectre stuff. We can skip a lot of this stuff. This is just kind of basis for why he does things and what he looks like and things like that. Strategy chips pairing HUYANG with light side droids or exiled allies can help maximize his damage. And Stay Together provides potent buffs for specific allies that can help swing the battle. He is going to be a marquee character, like we said, with General Syndulla being the one that comes after him. And he has utility with sortie droids in the event that you do not have GL Ahsoka. The other thing I want to point out with this is it says he has utility with sortie droids as well as with General Syndulla. To me, that screams General Syndulla is going to have a leadership ability. Because otherwise, why would he go with General Syndulla? If she's like Sabine and it's just a random marquee that doesn't have leadership, there's no reason for her to synergize with him. So that screams leadership here from General Syndulla. Anyway, just kind of looking into that. Basic droid pugilist. A lot of his abilities look kind of to me in terms of the visuals, personally, just saying. Does damage, he inflicts expose with them, and if they had stagger, he stuns them for 1 turn as well. So that could be good if there's a lot of stagger on the board, which is mostly from Ezra Exile there. That's where that kit synergy kind of aligns. Special 2, Auxiliary Grapplers. It's a Zeta with a cooldown of 3. Basics of this guy's allies gain speed up. They deal an additional instance of damage for each light side droid or ally with Exile at the start of the battle. So the more Exile that's passed, the better. The ability gains 10% damage per active Spectre ally, so obviously Spectres are really good. Inflict a stack of off balance, we've seen that before, to target enemy for 1 turn for each ally, that's a lot, that has removed Exile this battle. So again, the more you pass Exile, guys, the better he is going to be. So when I first looked at the kit for Ezra, we're going to kind of do a pause here, Ram. When I first looked at the kit with Ezra, my first thought was, okay, we want him to be thick, because he's got this resilient defense. You want him to be like a tank, essentially. Now that I'm getting into HUYANG's kit and reading more, I think he needs to be fast. As fast as possible, essentially, because the faster he takes turns, the more that Exile is spread, the more powerful your team is going to become. Are you on board with me on that, Ram, or am I mistaken on that?
No, I think I read it the same way as you. Makes sense. Speed is going to be king.
Yep, pretty much. All right, Special 2, Stay Together, cooldown of 4, TB Omicron. Call all light side allies to assist, so it's a mass assist that we got here. Strongest ally and weakest ally gain advantage, damage immunity, and offense up for 1 turn, tenacity up for 3 turns. That's a pretty big special right there. Otherwise, light side droid and Spectre allies recover 100% health and protection. If either the strongest or weakest ally has Exile, whoo boy, they gain 75 speed for 1 turn instead. This, to me, screams interesting modding. Kind of like Chewie and his guard ability. Like, you're going to really want to specifically make sure a certain character has either the least amount of health or the most amount of health. I'm assuming, because Ahsoka's a GL, she's going to be your strongest character. So does that mean you want your Exile to Ezra to actually be weak? Again, totally opposite of what I first thought. Like, I actually think that he might want to be speed only, no health. You want him to be really, really weak so that he's getting that 75 speed to get rid of Exile faster. Or do you not worry about it? All right, what do you think on that, Ram? Do you think that we're really going to be specifically modding Exile Ezra here? Or is it more just like, you know what? No, just let it spread like, you know, an STD and go with it.
Jesus Christ. I don't know what. It's early to say because we don't know Ahsoka's kit yet, right? Yep. We don't know how the impact of all this stuff is going to be.
Or General Syndulla's too.
Well, so I don't think Syndulla is going to be on the team.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think I mentioned this last week when we thought that we thought that she might make an appearance. I think she's going to be a requirement, but I don't think she's going to be on the team. I think the team is going to consist of HUYANG, obviously Ahsoka, Ezra, Sabine, and then why is this slipping my tongue?
Chopper?
Why?
Fulcrum?
No, wasn't there one more? Am I just
Ahsoka, Sabine, Ezra,
Yep.
HUYANG, and then it's either going to be HERA or it's going to be Chopper or Fulcrum. Those are the only other ones that we have confirmed as Spectres. Unless you think some other random person.
It might be Chopper. No, so the reason why I don't think it's HERA is I think HERA could be interchangeable, and that 5th slot is interchangeable. I think HERA is going to be more used as, like you said, with a leadership if you don't have GL Ahsoka. She's going to be I'm going to, kind of like Hux, right? I'm going to have a good team-ish, but it's really not going to work like it should without GL Ahsoka, right? That Slacker team became an entirely different beast when they had Slacker versus when they had Hux.
So you think she would be the leader of a Spectre team, but then if Ahsoka's present, she wouldn't be on the team at all? I think
that 5th slot is interchangeable.
Wow.
We'd have to see how Ahsoka's kid is, but that 5th slot might be interchangeable. It could be her, sure. It could be Chopper.
That's an interesting take.
Could be Fulcrum. Who knows? We'd have to see how I really have to see how the kit works with GL Ahsoka, really.
Yeah.
I don't think we can really identify how all these characters should be modded yet, because we don't know the uniques, kits, the leadership, the whole everything of.
That's a good point.
How Ahsoka's going to bring to the table.
True. Okay, continuing with the ability here, guys. In TB, you dispel all debuffs and enemy buffs. That's pretty big. All light side allies recover health and protection. Spectre allies recover additional health and protection. Reduce all light side droids and Spectres cooldowns by 1, which is nice. Light side droids, Spectres, allies gain 25% depen for the rest of the battle and 20% turn meter. Ram, worth it or not worth it with that Omicron there?
It is a TB Omicron, so...
I think even as far as TB Omicrons go, that's not worth it. That's not going to be that good.
No, all right, so...
It adds a little bit of survivability, that's about it.
If it wasn't with GL Ahsoka, yeah, I'd say, you know what, it might actually be... It might give you some viability...
Under a HERA lead,
to use him under a HERA lead or something.
Yeah, okay.
But the problem lies is that you will ultimately expect to use HUYANG in a GL Ahsoka. And at this point in stage, unless you're going up here, up in like phase 6 of TB, I expect a GL to do a good amount of work in a TB battle.
Yeah.
Why do I need an Omni for it?
Right, yeah. Same. I'm totally with you on that one. Yeah, I'm skipping that, if at all possible. That better be a make or break kind of thing for me to need that. Okay, Unique 1, Lightsaber Architect. This is a Zeta. At the start of battle, Jedi allies get... I love this. They gain 21% max protection. Light side droid allies gain 34% critical damage. Spectre allies gain 55% offense until the end of the battle. Why random numbers like this, you say? Well, I'm not smart enough to know this answer, but I was told that it's because it's a part of the Fibonacci number sequence, guys. How cool is that? That's pretty cool. If that is really true, if that's a part of the Fibonacci number sequence and that's why those numbers are so random like that, kudos to CG. That's a cool little nerdy Easter egg. Anyway, if the ally...
Sweens knows more about that one.
Yeah, Sweens would be a fan of that. If the ally in the leader slot is Spectre and a galactic legend at the start of the ally, aka Ahsoka, all Jedi, any Ahsoka Tano, and Padawan Sabine Wren gain Jedi lessons for 3 turns at the start of their first turn. If they had Jedi lessons whenever HUYANG gains any version of history of the galaxy, the duration is reset to 3 turns. So very, what I would say, like Hermit Yoda-esque kind of with that and how that works. Jedi Lessons is JML though, correct? Yeah,
I believe so.
So it's a call out to JML specifically, but in terms of the way that is working, I envision it kind of being more like Hermit Yoda to some degree. But I don't know. Anyway, light side ally evades an attack or resists a debuff. Light side droid gain 5% crit damage and offense stacking, max 100% until the end of the battle. There's going to be a good bit of foresight, so that could potentially be okay. First time an ally Spectre loses exile, HUYANG gains History of the Galaxy Part 1 for the rest of the battle. Whenever HUYANG gains any version of History of the Galaxy, ally Spectre allies gain 50% bonus protection for 2 turns. That's pretty big. Whenever he gains Part 3, reset the cooldown of Stay Together, which is, again, going to be a big thing there. All right. History of the Galaxy Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3 here, guys. So basically, whenever they use a basic ability until the first time HUYANG is defeated, Sabine Wren gains a Force Connection at max of 10 stacks. Whenever second ally Spectre loses exile for the first time, The ability upgrades to History Part 2. Remove the max stack limit. That's big. Whenever Ally Jedi, any Ahsoka Tano or Padawan, Sabine Wren, gain Force Connection if there are 5 Spectre allies at the start of battle. There are no allies with exile. This ability upgrades to History of the Galaxy Part 3. And in Part 3, Ally Jedi, any Ahsoka Tano, and Padawan Sabine Wren gain Force Connection whenever they use an ability until the first time HUYANG is defeated. So basically, in other words, guys, Force Connection ramps up more and more and more and more the more HUYANG has History of the Galaxy Part 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that's the TLDR of that situation there. Ram, that is a monstrous unique. And it's only one. Thoughts on that unique as a whole? Thoughts on HUYANG as a whole at this point?
Again, seems all right.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
I can't judge a lot of the team without judging the team as a whole, and I can't judge the team as a whole without Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I need to see how Ahsoka is going to tie into this to feel good about how good this team's going to be on offense, on defense, in certain game modes, what they're capable of doing, the comp of the team, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think there's some potentially neat interactions with Exile in there. Outside of that, I don't see a ton of great things in this kit. I think he's literally just going to be kind of he's there. He does stuff, but by himself, he's not really that great. Kind of like a Hux, to be honest with you. Hux by himself is not very good, but he's an important cog in that team being what it is. So I could see it being kind of the same thing with HUYANG there. Guys, let us know in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on the HUYANG kit? The HERA release, knowing that General Syndulla is coming. Again, we're assuming that's HERA and not some other version of General Syndulla. Let us know what you guys think on all of that stuff and such down below. All right. Last but not least, goodness gracious, this is a long episode. Sorry, guys. The last but not least, we're getting into Master of Memes. We're going to speed rush this because we're already over an hour. This is bananas. This is bananas.
BANANAS.
Yes, Master of Memes, guys. We got... Nintendo prepped us for this. This just happened last night as of recording, guys. We had Tyson versus... I kept calling him Jake Lloyd. Can you tell I'm a Star Wars fan and I don't know anything about boxing? Or YouTube online presences, I guess. Jake Lloyd versus Mike Tyson. Versus the dude from the Olympics that was like an assassin and just wore glasses and that was it. Just sniping the entirety of the Star Wars universe. Written and directed by George Lucas. Ran, which one do you like better, sir?
Wait, hold on. Who was the second meme again?
He's some dude from Turkey that like goes old school. Like all of the other people wore all these crazy fancy things and gidgemadoos and everything else to help them like shoot a little target. He just walked up with glasses on and was like,
it was from the Olympics.
Yeah, it's from the Olympics.
Jesus,
that's how far behind we are. And I shouldn't say how far behind we are. That's how many memes we have. We're just getting into July.
Oh man. Okay. All right. So
I fast tracked the boxing one because it was relevant for that night.
Right. I mean, they're both good, but after watching the boxing match last night, it was just not good. It was.
We're gonna play a game, guys. We're gonna play a game. Did we do the Master of Memes before or after the boxing match? Because the winner was...
It's before.
It was before, clearly.
It was before.
Because that match was terrible.
That match was awful, dude. Oh, God. It was just awful. I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, I understand Mike Tyson is
he's old.
58 years old.
He's old.
I get it. I am... Why did he agree to do a match if you can't even... You are a absolute shell of your former self at that point. If your intention was to show people that you still got it, you failed. If your intention was to beat a 27-year-old, you failed. If your intention was to show us that you don't belong in a boxing ring anymore, you've passed with flying colors.
2 words, Ram.
Your legacy lives, but damn.
20 million. That's why he did it.
Yeah,
20 million.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But then the thing was too is like, nobody wins from this. Because if Mike won,
pockets win.
It's expected. Well, yes, pockets win, right? But out of these two, nobody wins. If Mike wins, everybody expects it to win. If Jake wins, everybody expects it to win, but for different reasons. Everybody expects Mike to win because of his a massive career and experience. Everybody expects Jake to win because it's rigged and he's like half the age and in much better shape.
Yeah.
And you're picking on a grandpa. So, and I realized I just cussed on a video. Awesome. Sorry. Anyways, I would have gone with the turkey one actually, but
yeah, me too probably. But this was our winner, guys.
Was it even close?
Actually, it was a tie, and then I broke the tie. But it was before the fight started, so I went with this one.
I didn't even get to vote because I wasn't here.
We're just gonna pretend this Master of Memes never happened, guys. Guys, if you have a better Master of Memes, by the way, the winner for tonight was a Red Devil, guys. The winner for this week is a Red Devil. So congrats, Red Devil.
He doesn't even know anything.
Yeah, he's from Canada. He doesn't know anything. Sorry, Canadians. We love you. Guys, if you have a better Rogue Actions, guys, head over to the Discord and drop a meme over there in the Master of Memes channel for us, guys. And we will get you added to the docket. Ram, any final words before we call it a day/evening/week with how long this video has been?
I'm gonna make like CG and go eat a compliment sandwich right now.
Nom 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 nom.